So I want to jump in here today and show you something I've been working on for a month or so. It is a Sales Page Builder bot. Now, I originally started building this for the Offer Lab program to help people who aren't really familiar with building sales pages and all that be able to build a sales page inside of Offer Lab or using another tool and then put it into Offer Lab like ClickFunnels or Go High Level. And so I started working on this, and then I got pulled back off of this project to finish up my Prime Mover framework project. And so I got that done the other day. And yesterday I shot a sales video. And then I thought, well, let me see. I don't remember really how far along I was on this sales page builder. So let's come back in here. Let's check it out. And let's see if we can test it. Well, it turns out I was a lot further along than I thought. It's still in ChatGPT itself. It has not been moved into its own GPT, but it will be soon, probably sometime next week or so, once I get back to working on it again. But what I did is I took the transcript from the sales video I made for the Prime Mover framework, and I just dumped it in here just to see what it would do. So you can see the whole transcript right here. And what it did is it came down and it broke it down into 13 different items, and it had questions in here. So I went through everything. It's like, so it starts out with product overview, target audience, the big problem, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this is trained primarily on some of the teachings of people like David Ogilvy, Eugene Schwartz, I'm drawing blanks on the names here. All of a sudden, Gary Halbert, John Carlton, Michael Masterson, levels of awareness, unique mechanisms, things like that. There's a lot of that in here. And so it had a bunch of things. It told me what it already knew, but it also asked me a bunch of questions. So if we come down here, then I went through, answered questions, clarified some things, and then it decided to start spitting things out. So down here it gives me my Prime Mover framework, the big idea, the core promise right there. Talks about the unique mechanism, avatar and levels of awareness, primary emotions that it wants to hit on, and all this I'm reading through it going, okay, this is good, this is good. It's all very good. And then it comes down here and it says here, I'll now write your headline trio. So the pre-headline, headline, and subheadline. And I said, well, wait a second here. If we're going to do that, let's use Russell Brunson's 3 false beliefs. And of course, ChatGPT is programmed on all of Russell's books, but you can also add them in or any other information you wanted to as you're building your bot. And so I said, well, let's look at the vehicle internal and external. And of course, it tells me how smart I am, which is always good that these AI engines tell us how smart we are. And so then it started spitting everything out. And I'm not going to go through and read everything, but I'll just pause the screen here for a little bit. So we got all 3 of the outputs right here. And the one that really resonated with me right here is overcomes, I'm not techie enough, I'll mess it up. And so you don't need to be a designer or developer to build a gorgeous ClickFunnels course. Launch your own Prime Mover style membership in days, even if you've never built a course before. And the Prime Mover frameworks gives you 14 ready-to-use templates, a live example course, and step-by-step training to guide you every click of the way. And it even got a little bit clever here with every click of the way. And so I was like, okay, that's really good, especially from just purely a starting standpoint. And all I gave it essentially at this time, besides, clarifying a few things, is I gave it a transcript of a sales video. So doing good here so far. And then it asked me, now up here, it asked me originally, would you like the sales page written in a John Carlton conversational, long form style, or more like a ClickFunnels product page style? And I said, that's when I said, let's start off with the vehicle internal, external. So that's why it gave me this here. And like I said, I paused it long enough so you can read all that if you wanted to. And so then it says, perfect. Here are 3 complete leads, because it asked me, okay, do you want 3 complete leads for each one of the internal, external, and vehicle false beliefs. And I'm just like, okay, didn't expect me to ask me that, but yeah, that's the logical follow-on. But that was what I was going to ask for if it didn't ask for it on its own. And so that's what is spit out right here. So I haven't had a chance to read these yet, so I'm going to pause it real quick. Okay, I went through all three of the leads here, and what's very interesting is I could see using parts from every single one of these because it's like most people think that ClickFunnels is good only for funnels, not for real full-featured courses or memberships. They look at his mastermind and assume it took a whole dev team and months to build it. So they tell themselves, oh, I'll just wait. And the truth is you can build this, and then it goes into pretty much this part down here is the same in all three. And then we got a little truth thing here. But then here it says, if you've ever opened up ClickFunnels 2.0 and tried to build your own course, you probably felt that sinking feeling. Where do I start? The layouts don't match. Buttons. See this part here, I probably would not use this. ClickFunnels is powerful, but it wasn't built for beginners to make professional looking courses. See a bunch of this in here I probably would not use. But then we get to the what is in it kind of thing. And then this one down here, I like this too. So basically the first one and the third one, I thought had the best copy in it. Let's be honest, building a beautiful ClickFunnels course from scratch can feel like a full-time job. Between figuring out the layouts, fixing design quirks, and hiring a designer or developer to clean things up, most people spend weeks and sometimes thousands of dollars. That's why I built a prime mover framework. And et cetera, et cetera. No developers, no endless revisions, no maybe next month. So all three of these leads are very good. And again, it gives me building blocks that I can put together. I don't expect this thing to spit out something that's perfect, but it just gave me a whole bunch of content now that I can put together into my sales page. So let's see what we're going to do next with this. So again, this isn't complete. This isn't in the form of a GPT yet, so I'm not quite sure if this next part would have showed up like this, because it said, would you like me to move forward next with the story section, your authority, narrative, and how you created the framework, basically what Russell would call your, how you learned or earned it. This would be the how you learned or earned it part right here. Or do you want to go to the pitch? And I said, well, wait a second here. What would normally be the next part of the sales page? And so that's what we got right here on the screen now. It says the ideal sales page order, which is the order that I should be building this in because that's the way I programmed this GPT to do it, is just like we did. So we did the headline trio, we got the lead, now we're going to have the story, then the pitch, and et cetera, you see down the way here. And then it already came up with, here's what this section will include for you. Again, it pulled this out of the transcript, how long you've been building in ClickFunnels, the struggles you saw, the aha moments, the work you put in, your credibility, why you decided to make it public now, and a transition line leading to the pitch mechanism section. So all it's going to build out now for me, the next part here is the section part. And so let me see here. I'll just have to tell it to move forward, I think. So again, I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing here, but I read this here very quickly. And yeah, it's nailing my story from what I told in the sales video here. And it asks up here at the top, do you want this in the first person or in the third person? I go, well, it's me telling the story, so I want that in the first person. But it was smart enough, again, to ask that question there. So here we have the whole story. Like I said, slow down enough here so you can pause it and read it. It's worked out pretty good. It says now, next up in the flow is the pitch mechanism. This is where we can clearly show why the prime mover framework works so well. Your unique mechanism equals the style guide system, and start teasing the what you get portion of the offer, which I think it already kind of did up in the lead. I have to go back up and read the lead. I'm going through this very quickly. And what would you like me to go ahead and write that section next? And of course, the answer is yes. Okay, so our next section here is our pitch neck mechanism, and I like this here. It tells you as you're going through this thing here, tells you what each part is. Takes your story and transitions into the logical and emotional why this works explanation. It's what turns curiosity into belief. And then I'm so glad I added in the part about the unique mechanism. Now, the unique mechanism, I actually first heard the term years ago from Todd Brown, but Todd I know is heavily influenced by Michael Masterson, and who's one of the principals of Agora. Agora. I'm pretty sure Todd worked for Agora for a while. I don't know if he still does. I haven't really seen him in years. And, and Agora and Michael Masterson's work is a lot of that is very heavily influenced by Eugene Schwartz as well. And so I'm pretty sure somewhere in there is where the unique mechanism came from. But it says here, mine is very clear, the Prime Mover Style Guide System, a unified style-driven course template library that automates design consistency and eliminates guesswork. And, as I went through and read this here, here's what I realized: the building dozens of membership sites into ClickFunnels. The problem was never the platform, it was the process. Most people build their courses page by page manually, et cetera, et cetera. You can read everything on the page here. And I said, what if I could fix all of that in one place? Now, did I actually say that in my video? Sort of. Maybe. I certainly implied it. But that's the beauty of this ChatGPT in general, but also the programming I put in here is that it's really seeming to do a really great job. So that's exactly what this is for. It's built around a universal style guide system that automatically applies your chosen design across every single page, et cetera, et cetera. You got the 14 templates. It starts talking about that again, repeatable design system, et cetera, et cetera. Then we come down here and we can do proof or evidence. At this point here, I told it already that I don't want to be doing any name dropping on the page. I dropped a couple names in the videos, and everything I dropped, of course, was 100% real. But I didn't want to do that here on the page, and I didn't tell it I don't have any testimonials because I have dozens and dozens and dozens of those, which I may put in. But at this point here, we probably won't do anything. Would you like me to write that next now? So we'll say yes on this and have it build out the proof evidence system section of this. And then let's see what came after that. Where was the list again here? Proof evidence. And we got our offer stack, guarantee, urgency, and close. So we're pretty much wrapping it up here. So the next thing after that is going to be the offer stack, and I will let this load up here, and then we'll move directly probably into, okay, well, here's something right here. Okay, so here's the proof section right here, and it goes into a lot more of the story again, and parts of the story that we're not in here so far. I've been building since 2016. I've been beta tester for 2.0, along with a whole bunch of other people, of course. You've built for high-profile clients. Again, I'm not dropping the names in the sales page here, but I did in the video. And I've sold stuff for $20,000, and I used to sell a $2,000 course. So all that's in there. Okay, this guy's the real deal is what we want to earn that authority right there, saying. And then goes in here. This isn't my first rodeo. I've been building custom stuff since 2016. Since then, I worked directly with some top creators, blah, blah, et cetera, et cetera. You can read it all on here. And so would you like me to write that next? The stack and reveal direct response style Gary Halbert Brunson mix. Let me pause this here for a second. So I just answered yes to the question up here at the top. And so here, again, like I said, what I think is really nice in here, it says the offer stack is where we take everything we've seen so far, all the benefits, credibility, everything, and make it tangible and irresistible value. We'll break it down with clear deliverables to make the $4.97 feel like a steal, selling money at a discount is what Dan Kennedy would refer to that as. And here's your offer stack sections. The offer, here's everything you get inside the Prime Mover framework. By now you can probably see how powerful the system is, blah, 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 et cetera. And then we got the breakdown here of everything. I don't know, I think it just made up these numbers because I don't think I put those numbers on the video. I'm not sure. So either way, just threw in some numbers here, breaks down everything again. And again, all this was prompted by was that singular video transcript, and then I answered some questions that I had regarding the transcript, and then total real world value, plus you're protected with a 30-day guarantee. And then we got a call to action here, build your next course today. And then next in the flow is a close section, the emotional finish that drives urgency, eliminates remaining objections. And would you like me to write that next section? Of course, yes, I would. And now, there are different ways of building sales pages. Now, you can start off with, I think a lot of them starts off with the emotional, and then it goes to something else I forget, and then the logical at the bottom. That is certainly a different way that these sales pages can be built. But in reality, that's what this is doing here too, because we're telling the story, we're dealing with the emotions, and then at the bottom is the logical part. Okay, what are the numbers? What am I getting? And then a logical close at the bottom, and we'll see what it comes up with as far as a logical close goes. So the next section is a close. It's not about adding new information. It's about reassurance, urgency, and belief transfer, giving your reader confidence that this is the right decision right now. So again, is hitting on the logical part here, not the emotional part, because we already got the emotional part covered. So now we're in the logical, and we'll stack emotional, certainty, eliminate remaining objections, and end with a strong, no pressure call to action. So the close here, I haven't read any of this yet because you just saw it pop up on the screen. So actually, let me just pause it for a second. So basically here, it's covering a bunch of what if objections. What if I'm not technical? What if I'm on ClickFunnels 1.0? Well, if you're on ClickFunnels 1.0, well then, blah, blah, blah. What if I want to make it look different? Well, because of the style guide system that we use in there, blah, blah, blah. What if I need help? Well, there's ongoing support. There's a private community. There's a free 60-minute call. The real reason to act now, here's the truth. Now, I would guess we probably don't want to put this little headline in there. The real reason, no, I wouldn't put that in there. Well, maybe. No, I wouldn't. Here's the truth. Most people sit on the sidelines with a great idea for a course and never gets built. Yeah, I mean, that's this right here. The boom, that's hitting somebody right there. And then the decision for just $4.97, you get another breakdown of what the stack already showed up higher on the page. And basically, what you could do here now is you could take this and very quickly adapt this into slides for a presentation of some sort. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that that's going to be one of the options I'm going to get at the end of this. And I'm sorry if you see me like swatting mosquitoes. We had 7 inches of rain here in the last 45 days in Phoenix, and there's mosquitoes are everywhere. So click the button below to get instant access. Okay, so that's the final sales page, start to finish, and you now have a complete version. Would you like me to write 7 email follow-up sequence or build a short form sales page version? So I could do either one of those. What I'm also going to, what I think I'll do here first is what I just said is, can you turn this into a webinar? And so let's just see, can you turn this into a webinar with slides, and we'll see what it comes up with. Okay, so it spit this out here, and it says absolutely it's perfect webinar, perfect webinar style presentation. You got your big promise, your 3 secrets, your story, mechanism, and offer, and your close. And then it's got a great headline here, how to build a stunning ClickFunnels 2.0 course in a weekend without coding, confusion, or chaos. And then we got here, so our webinar flow, which is interesting because it gives you all the slides. And I was wondering as I was doing that, is it going to give me the actual slides? And then boom, here you go down here. We got slide number 1, how to build this here again, subheadline, and then tells you even what you say. Hey everyone, this is Dan Havey, blah, blah, blah. And then you got the next slide here. Just do some, I guess we just, okay, that's text on the page. Okay, in the next 45 minutes, you can put an image on the page and just say this, et cetera, et cetera. So we got slides. Okay, so here we got the secrets, content section, the transition, the stack. So, and if there's not enough in here, you can ask for more or build it out yourself, but it's a really good place to get started. So this is more than I wanted to show you on this. What I'm actually going to do is come back up here, and maybe I'll do this right before I get off. Let me just do this. I will copy this here and tell it that that's what I want it to do. Hit enter, and then we'll pause real quick. We'll see what it does for a shorter version, because what they had on there was a lot longer than I wanted to go. And so we'll see what it'll come up with a shorter version. And then after that, I'm going to be done filming this because I'm going to go take what this just gave me and go build a sales page with it. Now, the result here is interesting because it went from what was pretty long earlier, and it consolidated it down into virtually nothing here. So what I'm really looking for is somewhere in between. But now I got the building blocks that I can take from the simple, easy one here and the other one, copy, paste, grab out the lines I like. A lot of it was kind of repetitive anyway, especially in the lead from one to the next. So I can take out the bits that I like, piece it together, and put it into my sales page. So I'll just scroll down here so you can read everything that's on the page. And then that is it. So like I said, I'm going to go and build a sales page right now.